have to pause this. 안녕하세요. Princess Ling는 돌아왔습니다. Today, I wanted to teach you guys something that I kind of got a handle on recently. Number one, I actually love budgeting now. Before, you can ask me to budget nothing. I would just go and spend and be like,
well, yeah, okay. I still got money on my card, so I'm okay.
Now, I'm like, okay, so if I buy this and buy that, that'll make it, but then will I have enough to get this and that? If I buy this and that, am I gonna have enough? I like doing those kind of things. Honestly, it's like really fun now. Like, oh my gosh. To some people though, budgeting gets stressful because they don't like thinking about money, but I like thinking about money, so I like to manage my money, like micromanage it, like,
no, that penny was not supposed to come out.
I did start out like writing it in a notebook or whatever. I learned how to do it in Excel, so I've been doing it ever since then in there. Now, I'm gonna show you how I do mine, but you don't have to copy mine. This is just kind of a general idea of how I do it. The general setup of my Excel sheets here is I have a balance sheet, I have the transaction sheet, and I have the reoccurring bill sheet. Now, those are the three main sheets that I usually use. I have added like a couple more just to kind of, you know, hone in on my spending, like what do I need to not spend so much. This also can help you focus what you're spending on too. You don't need to get too complicated with it. On this first page, the balance sheet page, I have when I got paid, like the exact dates, the hours I worked at my job. I've got it for job 1 and job 2. I put the hours there, and then how much I got paid in a combination from both of them. I just added up in the next column there. As you can see that the top line, the blue line there, has like date, the hours I worked, the net pay, food, electric, car insurance, cable, credit card, phone. E&T is entertainment, student loans, savings, and the totals. That particular bar does not change because I spend that every single month, but the bar that does change is the bar that has the month, and it's got job 1, job 2, and then it's got the budget, and then after that are the budgets for each of those categories. I put the budget for each individual thing there, each category. So for instance, like my food budget, I put for $100. Now, it's okay if you go over that, but I usually try and keep it strictly to that budget that I set for that month. Now, obviously, if you got kids or something, you want to make that a little bit bigger, but you know, I'm a single person, so I don't need that big of a food budget. The E&T, which is entertainment, that's stuff for what you're gonna buy for yourself, or you know, I guess other people, just something that's not food or electric or bills kind of thing. I put in entertainment. On the transaction page, I put each transaction, or every time I swipe my card, I put it on this sheet. You can do it if you do cash, if you'd like to, you know, really be strict with that. But if you do withdraw cash, I would just do that as one, you know, one transaction, and then, you know, you don't have to account for what you spent the cash on. For instance, if I did withdraw that cash, what would I put? I would put it as a savings thing. Like if I withdraw the money, it would be kind of like taking it out of savings. As you can see here, I've got 2 main lines at the top, which, you know, the top one is all the categories and the dates. And then the second one is just purely the month. And every month I change that color just so I can be like, oh, March was yellow, and then, you know, October was green or something, you know, just to kind of have it stick in your mind better than having everything all the same colors. That gets boring. This bottom column off to the side that just has the borders around them, those are the totals for each of those categories. Now, I know I could have placed it higher in the sheet, but I feel like it's balanced better at the bottom. The last main page that I have is the reoccurring bills page. Honestly, I overcomplicated this page because sometimes I'm thinking too hard when I'm doing this stuff. Essentially, I put all the bills that I pay every month on here, and then the time frame that they occur. For instance, the electric, it occurs between the 11th and 13th. So like I can expect that, hey, I probably need to pay the electric during that period of time. Don't forget to like actually look at your statements, okay? Because sometimes it's after that. This page is helpful just in case like one day I'm just like sitting here thinking about all my money going out and the money coming in, and I get stressed and I'm like, what's happening? What do I need to pay next? This page is very helpful. With all of this said, I do use the equations. It does definitely make this process easier. If we click on transactions, which is the tab I'm actually in 70% of the time when I go to my Excel sheet for my bills, I type in all my transactions. Let's say I just got paid on the 13th here. As you can see, when I clicked on the income square, the equation that I used popped up. I used some equation for like 90% of everything on here, like maybe even 99 really. It tells you each column, and if you actually click into here, it'll highlight which ones that I had considered income. Typically I don't consider savings income, but in this particular example, I just decided to do that. Each of these is connected with, you know, the sum, and it goes straight to each individual thing that I consider that within that category. If I click on entertainment, it will pop up all the things that I have labeled exactly that at the top, entertainment. In order for me to not have to constantly add up stuff all the time, I did this one trick that I figured out like a couple months ago. I didn't realize that I could do. I figured out how to connect the transactions page to the balance sheet page. This is what I'm talking about. So you see entertainment here. We looked at what was entertainment. So if I click on the entertainment balance on this sheet, as you can see, it says equal sum, and then transactions, which is that page we just got off of. It has a column that I had a total in that says H17. We're gonna go to H17. That is H17. It's directly mirroring that. Now this page is primarily like a condensed version to where it's like, okay, I can go boom, boom, boom. I'm over budget here, I'm under budget here, I'm doing great, you know, that kind of thing. This is the only sheet where you can see the budgets you set for yourself and, you know, the hours you've worked. This could all be on the same page, but then there'd be a lot happening. I separated it so I can get into a different mind frame once I open each page. Like here, if I go to this page, I'm expecting to see how many hours I worked and, you know, if I'm over budget or not. And if I go to the transactions page, I expect to see like, all right, I went to Walmart on this day and spent this much. That's just how I do it. Hopefully my explanation of this made sense to you guys. If it didn't, I guess you can ask questions down below. But as you can see, it's pretty simple. You can actually do this on a piece of paper if this is too complicated, but there are lots of YouTube tutorials on how to do this. That's basically how I figured out how to do this. This is my technique. Like, I'm able to stick with this because it's got pretty colors and it's organized in a way that I understand. Like, this is just the way that I think. It helps me. 자, 이 비디오를 끝났습니다. 이 비디오를 봐주셔서 감사합니다. I really need to find a different phrase to say. 다음 비디오에도 봐요. 그리고 좋아해 하고 구독해 주세요. 안녕히 계세요. 다른 비디오에도 한국만 얘기할 수 있어요. 그런데 재미있는 건가요? 밑대로 말해주세요. Did that even make sense?
Subscribe.